discovery of two enormous structures deep inside the Earth supports the hollow Earth hypothesis? Two massive structures lie deep within the Earth, roughly on opposite sides of each other, opposite sides on the planet. The two structures, each the size of a continent and 100 times taller than Mount Everest, sit on the core, 1,800 miles deep and about halfway to the center of the Earth. These structures are made of something different from the rest of the Earth's mantle. Quote, "While the origin and the composition of these structures are yet unknown, we suspect they hold important clues as to how the Earth was formed and how it works today." This is what scientist Garneno of the Arizona State University said. They discovered these structures and they published it in Nature Geoscience. Quote, "Earth is layered like an onion with a thin outer crust, a thick viscous mantle, a fluid outer core, and a solid inner core. The two structures, like giant blobs of rock, sit in the mantle on top of the Earth's core, under the Pacific Ocean on one side and beneath the African and the Atlantic Ocean on the other side." This is what Garneno explains. Besides this latest discovery, scientists have already found evidence of a vast water reservoir deep beneath the Earth's surface, a reservoir of water 3 times the volume of all oceans, while a group of scientists from Harvard University believe that they have identified a sign that an ancient part still exists within the Earth's mantle. You can see that video, it's just before this one. We explain the huge amount of water that has been found between the Earth's crust and the core, which is 3 times more than all the oceans of the world combined. This is a tremendous amount of water resource. Thank goodness we do not have a lack of water. So with the latest discoveries and the ongoing activities carried out by today's researchers and scientists to unravel the secrets hidden deep inside the Earth, the interest in the hollow Earth theory is again growing. According to the hollow Earth hypothesis, planet Earth is either wholly hollow or otherwise contains a substantial interior space. I have past videos concerning the underground tunnel systems, huge underground systems connecting, for example, Scotland with Asia Minor in Turkey, and from Romania connecting to the Giza Plateau, the Great Pyramids of Egypt. And these, of course, are supposedly pre-flood structures underneath the Earth. So, yes, it's the hollow Earth theory, again, growing, and they're going to research more about this. According to the hollow Earth hypothesis, planet Earth is either wholly hollow or otherwise contains a substantial interior space. The first idea of Earth consisting of a hollow shell came from Edmund Halley in 1692. He said that the hollow shell is about 800 kilometers thick, 2 inner concentric shells, and an innermost core. Atmospheres separate these shells, he says. Atmospheres. And each shell rotates at different speeds, and it has its own magnetic poles. In 1818, John Clive Sims Jr. suggested that the Earth consists of a hollow shell about 1,300 kilometers, that's again 800 miles thick, with openings about 2,300 kilometers, that's 1,400 miles across, at both poles. That's a huge distance, opening at both poles, with 4 inner shells, each open at the poles. He proposed making an expedition to the North Pole whole, but the new President of the United States, Andrew Jackson, halted his attempt. Vice Admiral Richard E. Byrd. Well, we all know him. He went North Pole, he went twice to the South Pole. South Pole was 39, and in 1945, after the war, Vice Admiral Richard E. Byrd at South Pole was Operation High Jump. Byrd flew over the North Pole on May 9th in 1926. He also flew over the South Pole on the 29th of November 1929, 3 years later. Vice Admiral Byrd announced on February of 1947, just before venturing into the 2,750-kilometer journey across the North Pole, quote, "I like to see the land beyond the pole. That area beyond the pole is the center of the great enigma," end quote. In 1968, pictures taken by a satellite orbiting Earth clearly show a gaping hole located at the North Pole. In 1970, with support from the 1968 images that proved the existence of the hole at the North Pole, ufologist Ray Palmer was finally able to conclude that the hollow Earth existed, that it could probably be reached through the poles, the holes in the North and the South Poles. After several years of preparations, the North Pole Inner Earth Expedition, consisting of a team of researchers, planned for the summer of 2014 departure, but some unexpected disasters befell the team. Yet a key member died in a mysterious plane crash, and another member completely vanished, in what makes you wonder if some powers were maneuvering against them. Yet many other failed or blocked expeditions. Yet the Thule Society, which was well known by Hitler, reported much about openings into the Earth. Even he ordered a research journey for such an opening in Antarctica. So when you think that all the theories about the possibility of a world inside Earth could be nothing more than excessive imaginations, the scientists who have discovered the two deep-seated structures expect that further work on these anomalies will help clarify the picture in the near future, and without doubt they will discover more secrets hidden deep inside the Earth, and perhaps once they have to admit that the hollow Earth theory is not a theory but a reality. There's these two structures, or these underwater huge oceans, bring a whole new set of questions that need to be answered, a whole new set of research that has to be done. As we said in the video before this one, up to now, cosmologists, astrologists believed, geologists even believed, that water came to Earth through comets and celestial bodies that impacted Earth. Well, obviously, that is not the case. With this new finding, the water is underneath the mantle of the Earth. Astonishing that a massive ocean has been discovered towards the Earth's core. A reservoir of water, 3 times the volume of all the oceans on Earth. 3 times all the oceans on Earth has been discovered deep beneath the Earth's surface. The finding could help explain where Earth's seas came from. The water is hidden inside a blue rock called ringwoodite that lies 700 kilometers underground in the Earth's mantle, the layer of hot rock between Earth's surface and its core. The huge size of the reservoir throws new light on the origin of Earth's water. Some geologists think water arrived in comets, and as they struck the planet, they supplied the Earth with water. But the new discovery supports an alternative idea that the oceans gradually oozed out of the interior of the early Earth. Quote, "It's good evidence the Earth's water came from within," end quote, says Stephen Jacobson of Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois. The hidden water could also act as a buffer for the oceans on the surface, explaining why they have stayed the same size for millions of years. Pinging the planet. Jacobson's team used 2,000 seismometers to study the seismic waves generated by more than 500 earthquakes. These waves move throughout Earth's interior, including the Earth's core, and can be detected at the surface. Jacobson says they make the Earth ring like a bell for days afterwards. By measuring the speed of the waves at different depths, the team could figure out which types of rocks the waves were passing through. The water layer revealed itself because the waves slowed down, as it takes them longer to get through soggy rock than dry rock. He said, We should be grateful for this deep reservoir. Jacobson also worked out in advance what would happen to the waves if water containing ringwoodite was present. He grew ringwoodite in his lab and exposed samples of it to massive pressures and temperatures matching those at 700 kilometers down beneath the Earth's surface. And sure enough, they found signs of wet ringwoodite in the transition zone 700 kilometers down, which divides the upper and the lower regions of Earth's mantle. At that depth, the pressures and temperatures are just right to squeeze the water out of the ringwoodite. Quote, "It's rock with water along the boundaries between the grains, almost as if they're sweating," says Jacobson. I would venture to say with my own comment here is that this rock is some kind of a rocky sponge filled with water. Damp down there, he says. Jacobson's findings support a recent study by Graham Pearson of the University of Alberta in Edmonton, Canada. Pearson studied a diamond from the transition zone that had been carried to the surface in a volcano, and he found that it contained water-bearing ringwoodite, the first strong evidence that there was lots of water in the transition zone. Peterson says, quote, "Since our initial report of hydrous ringwoodite, meaning ringwoodite with water in it, hydrous ringwoodite, we found another ringwoodite crystal also containing water, so the evidence is now very strong," end quote. So far, Jacobson only has evidence that the watery rock sits beneath the US. He now wants to find out if it wraps around the entire planet. Quote, "We should be grateful for this deep reservoir," says Jacobson, and he adds, "If it wasn't there, it would be on the surface of the Earth, and mountaintops would be the only land poking out." Now, looking at this wonderful image, I'm thinking of the geysers in Yellowstone that erupt every 20 minutes or so, like a clock. And of course, as everybody knows, those geysers spout out tremendous amounts of superheated water every time. So where is all that water coming from? Somewhere from the Earth's interior, obviously. And I guess this is as good a time as any to put in a diagram of the hollow Earth with the openings at the poles, the map of Agartha, and people claiming that there are ancient tunnels that lead from the Earth's surface towards the inner Earth. I don't know of anybody that's had the experience of going in there, but let's put that there for the sake of all-inclusionness. I'll leave links below for you for this.